So my parents noticed something was wrong and they could tell I was ill, but they didn't know what it was. I didn't know I was ill and I was really confused as to why I was even at the GP, and that's what started it. I think I was really confused because I had a lot of racing thoughts in my head. I didn't really understand what was wrong. I didn't really understand I was ill. But then once someone had told me there was a proper diagnosis, I didn't think actually I was weird, that maybe there is actually something wrong with me and it's not my fault. So it was a bit comforting to actually know that you're diagnosed. So when I was diagnosed with psychosis, there was a little bit of me with relief, because at least I knew what it was, but the majority of me was, what does that mean? When I hear of psychosis, I just naturally thought of schizophrenia, psychopath, and to me that had negative connotations. It's not actually the case, but when you first hear it, you just think crazy. It was hard to open up at the time, and also at the time my memory was quite poor. I was very confused. I wasn't very chatty because I didn't know what to talk about. I just had my thoughts in my head, so it took me a long time to answer questions. It took me a long time to think of words even in my head, so I wasn't very open to speaking for a few weeks, really. It was quite hard and slow. It's hard to tell friends and family because they don't really understand it as much maybe, so they don't know what to expect. So if you tell them something, they might think you're a bit strange, but if you tell your care coordinator it, they can sort of rationalise it and tell you actually that's normal for you to think like that because you have a condition that makes you think in a certain way. Once you realise you're in the EIP system, you realise you're not alone and you have a diagnosis, but you're also part of something which has specialists working. There's people solely with your condition and they can get better. They can be worse than you, they can be better than you when they started, but you will progress. You may relapse, but it will get better slowly, yeah. The treatments that were offered to me through EIP was a good variety. So there was the medication, which was dealt with through the GP for antidepressants and the psychiatrist for the antipsychotics, which when I first heard sounds quite scary, but that really did help the symptoms come down, and then once they'd come down I was able to engage in psychological sort of therapies. CBT was really beneficial because it's just able to change your mindset. It doesn't make you feel silly, it just makes you see things from a different point of view, and that's important. You won't get embarrassed about it, it'll just slowly change your mindset and you'll start to see things a bit clearer in a bigger picture than sort of tunnel vision, which I think is what I had. I feel like my change in confidence is definitely down to the EIP team because they just were able to change how I viewed things and be a bit more optimistic and hopeful that things won't always be as bad as you think they may be. So if you are visiting this website and you think you might be suffering with psychosis, please reach out to EIP because they have literally changed my life from when I felt so low to just improving my life beyond belief. I'm so much more confident and happy in who I am, and I don't recognise myself from pre-psychosis, so it's definitely worth getting help. My name is Katie. Aged 18, I was diagnosed with psychosis. Thanks to the early intervention psychosis team, I now have an epic mind.